Hey y'all, welcome to the Powerhouse Podcast. I'm Coach Megan, and today we are going to be talking about 3 red flags. No, not in dating. I wish. That'll be a different podcast coming later. 3 red flags that might be ruining your pageant paperwork. Okay? Super excited. Let's dive right in.
Welcome to the Powerhouse Podcast, hosted by sisters, former Miss Nebraskas and a Miss Nebraska USA, and expert coaches Allie Swanson Mancuso and Megan Swanson Rhodes. Every Tuesday, we bring you a life-changing, challenging, and activating episode to help high-achieving women win their pageants, massively transform their mindsets, and dominate all aspects of life, including elements both inside and what most consider traditionally as areas outside of pageantry. Allie and Megan coach high-achieving women in all 50 states and beyond, and live to see women conquer their dreams. If you're not already part of our Powerhouse Club, join the fastest growing group of winning pageant queens on the planet, linked in the show notes every single week. Now, let's get on to this week's episode.
Okay, so diving right in, 3 red flags that might be ruining your paperwork. I'd be so curious to hear what you guys think that they are. And chances are we have posted on social media about this as well. So if you are not in Pageant Winner Secrets, first of all, what are you doing? Go ahead and post inside of Pageant Winner Secrets what you think the 3 red flags are underneath of our post. And feel free to comment on our Instagram as well, because I want to hear what you guys think are the things that might be ruining your pageant paperwork. You know, a couple weeks ago, we had an amazing free paperwork masterclass. If you missed it, you definitely missed out. You've got to be inside of Pageant Winner Secrets to join these free masterclasses, which normally we charge several $100s for. So it's the best place to be. Okay. So have you ever walked out of your interview only to feel like you didn't get the home run question about your platform? It can be super, super, super frustrating. Or worse, maybe you did get the best question in the world, totally about your pageant platform, your social impact, whatever it is for your industry, but you didn't hit the home run with your answer. You either blabbed for way too long, or you got nervous to be vulnerable, or A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? Whatever happened. When that happens, when you walk out and you're like, I didn't get the question, I didn't get to share my heart, or you shared it in the wrong way, or your perception of the wrong way, what happens? If you're like me, it's like instant overthinking. It's so hard. Your brain speeds up 1,000,000 miles an hour. You're overthinking everything from your hair, your makeup, your outfit. You're questioning, did I have spinach in my teeth? Did I do everything wrong? Right? Because you got one thing wrong. And unfortunately, this can be the thing that ends up kind of ruining your interview, because it is so important to get your why across. It is so important to get who you are across as a person. And that can be really difficult to come back from that when it comes to, okay, now I got to do my talent. Now I got to do my social impact pitch, but I already feel like they hate my platform because, right? So the overthinking starts. Your brain very easily starts to play tricks on you constantly for like the next entire day, until you can rest up, kind of sleep on it, and convince yourself that your whole interview, your whole competition wasn't hanging on that one fail. So that's why today I'm going to show you the 3 red flags that do count you out in an interview. And of course, also teach you how to avoid them and how to do it correctly, or else I would not be Coach Megan and you would not be listening to the Powerhouse Podcast. So as always, one quick little note, just making sure you guys know this. So a lot of you guys who are listeners, we have thousands of you who listen every single week. I want to make sure that you are aware that we also have a full-fledged video version of the podcast now each and every week. So I did want to make sure that you guys were aware of this, just because sometimes I show things on our screen. Some things I show specifically, whiteboarding or whatever. And I just want to make sure that you guys are 100% getting the most out of these episodes. So if you've been a long time podcast listener on Podbean or Spotify, which is where a lot of you guys find us, or Apple Podcasts, just making sure just look up Powerhouse Pageantry on YouTube, and we have new videos every single week, and you can go back and watch old ones too, which is kind of cool. All right, so diving in, what are the 3 red flags? Okay, so the first thing that I have found in the last 7 years of fixing paperwork left and right, which is one of my favorite things to do in the world, the number one thing that I see is overkill. So this is specific to certain personality types for sure, but a lot of times it's for people that have every accolade. They have a 4.3 GPA. They have 17 million thousand hours of community service, et cetera, et cetera. And they want to make sure, and maybe it's a scholarship pageant on top of that. So you're like, no, of course, like I have to show that I'm better and I've done more. And to an extent, that's true, right? Because you have people that have the opposite problem. And we'll talk about that in a second. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself the question, okay, well, if I'm just reading a bunch of stuff that me, myself, and I as a judge maybe don't personally have a connection to because my personal interests just are about something entirely different, what makes that person interesting to me? What makes that text come alive? And the answer is oftentimes you're not, okay? Now, I'll say specifically if you're doing a Miss America community service interview, this can be a little different, but you still need to have the element of story and storytelling very importantly in there. Knowing how to basically craft a one-page pitch that still has hooks, still has benefits, it's benefit-rich language. You're writing it like a sales letter. And so that's something that if you're, if that's your prerogative, you want to work on that this year, we can definitely help you with that. That's actually one of our favorite things to work on is paperwork, which is why we talk about it so much. But I want to encourage you, overkill, okay? In the same way, I always say this, just like dating, if you were to read someone's profile, or, you look, I don't know if anybody else watches Indian Matchmaker on Netflix, which is a great show. They look at the biodata, right? And you need enough to tell somebody that you have hobbies in common, that, their education, what do they like, what do they value, but you don't want too much where you have nothing to talk about on a first date, right? So a huge reason why maybe you're not even getting asked questions, we talked about this in the paperwork masterclass, about the things that you want to, is you're probably oversharing. And then the judges feel like they have nothing else to ask you about, okay? Number 2, you might be one-dimensional. You might be too one-dimensional. Now, we love a brand. We need a brand, okay? You might be the horse girl. You might be the academic girl with 15 degrees, and that's great. But I don't want your paperwork to come off like I'm reading a thesis about horses, a thesis about engineering, whatever. That's great. But you have to remember that you are not your audience. You have a very diverse audience that comes from a completely different background. And that's where the art of copywriting, which is something that we teach all of our clients. And again, like writing like a sales letter, almost like in sales language, to be honest, to keep someone's attention for the entirety of a whole page if you have Miss America type paperwork. But even if you are in NAM or something like that, where it is a scholarship pageant and you're literally just listing things, remember that anything that you put on your paperwork, again, you don't want it to look like you have significantly less than other people. So I get that. But how can you beef up the things that you're doing where everything that's on your paperwork is something that you're actually passionate about and you actually have a story about? Okay. So we want a brand. We don't want to be this girl who just does everything. We also don't want to be a girl who is just super one-dimensional and can't talk about anything else. So be a real person, right? And real people are balanced. And finally, the third thing that is a red flag is you're all over the place. So all talk, but no action. And how you know if you're this person, which is okay, just a starting point, you still have time, is you're in the beginning stages of planning your platform. Maybe you changed your platform and you're constantly using future-paced language. So like, I plan to, I want to, I will, things like that. No action, no bueno. Okay. So how do we avoid these red flags and turn them into green flags? Okay. It's very simple, but not necessarily easy. So number 1, figure out what action you need to take to set the bar high and then take it. Take that action. Do it. Okay. Number 2, figuring out what is stopping you. Is it yourself? Is it somebody else? Is it a boyfriend sucking up all your time? Is it, what are things that maybe you have considered totally immovable that are actually movable in your life? Like you actually don't have to say yes to them and you're not creating space for the things that actually matter. Okay. Remove them, get them out of your life. And then number 3, figure out who needs to help you to get there and ask them, sign up with them, do a session with them, get coffee with them, whoever that is for you, whoever has the knowledge and the expertise to help you win, get in the same room as them, DM them, message them, book a call with them, whatever it is. It's really that simple. Okay. So figure out what it is, figure out the action you need to take and take it, figure out what's stopping you and remove it, and figure out who needs to help you and call them. That is how you win. That is how you make massive progress, okay? There's nothing noble about doing everything yourself, because what you're actually doing is you're limiting your sphere of influence and knowledge when you have to be the teacher, master, lord, and student of everything, okay? You're not called to do life alone. Winners have teams, and they build teams, and they quantify and qualify teams, okay? It's why we've built our business the way that we have, where we qualify every single client before we even want to work with them, right? Because I don't know if I want to work with you. I don't know if I'm the right coach for you till I know that, right? That's why we have a discovery call. That's why I set a strategy for everybody so that they win and maybe you never work with us, but you get encouraged and you get knowledge and you get clarity about what you should do along the path and the place and the journey that you're in, or we'll help you. And either way, you win, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this short episode. I'm excited to continue on. We have some great episodes, great master classes coming up, and we are building this next cohort of women who are going through our amazing guaranteed system. And for the first time actually here in 2022, we have a place hire guarantee for anyone who works with us on a one-on-one level. So definitely book your strategy calls. Do not wait, because those spots fill up, and we only take a certain amount of women every quarter, and we only do 4 cohorts a year. So make sure that you join the greatest group of powerhouse women in the world. Book a strategy call to figure out more and see if you're qualified, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Bye.
Well, thanks so much for listening to this episode. This is Coach Megan, and I just wanted to say it is 2023 in terms of the next pageant season, and we have so many new things going on at Powerhouse. We have a new brand, we have new logos, we have a new website, we have new resources for you, so make sure that you click the link below. If you are not already part of the Powerhouse Club, figure out how you can save $300 per month and $700 overall by joining the best world-class pageant training in the world that you cannot get anywhere else. Intrigued? Click the link below, and we can't wait to see you in that. Thanks for listening to this episode, and we will see you next week.